my name is Deanne. This is Deanne's Treasure Studio, where I read gaming content not available on Audible. Free reading 2024, Chapter 7, Spell Descriptions, B, and more. First on our list today is Blade Ward, Abjuration, Cantrip, Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action. Range, self. Components, VS. Duration, concentration, up to 1 minute. Whenever a creature makes an attack roll against you before the spell ends, the attacker subtracts 1d4 from the attack roll. Bless. Level 1 enchantment, Cleric, Paladin. Casting time, action, range 30 feet. Components, VSM, a holy symbol worth 5 gold pieces. Duration, concentration up to 1 minute. You bless up to 3 creatures within range whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends. The target adds 1d4 to the attack roll or save. Using a higher level spell slot, you can target 1 additional creature for each spell slot above 1. Blight. Level 4 Necromancy, Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 30 feet. Components, VS, duration, instantaneous. A creature that you can see within range makes a Constitution saving throw, taking 8d8 necrotic damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. A plant creature automatically fails the save. Alternatively, target a non-magical plant that isn't a creature such as a tree or shrub. It doesn't make a save. It simply withers and dies. Using a spell level slot, a higher spell level slot, the damage increases by 1d8 for each spell slot above 4. Blinding Smite. Level 3 Evocation Paladin. Casting time, bonus action when you take immediately after hitting a creature with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. Range, self. Component, V. Duration, 1 minute. The target hit by the strike takes an extra 3d8 radiant damage from the attack, and the target has the blinded condition until the spell ends. At the end of each of its turns, the blinded target makes a Constitution saving throw, ending the spell on itself on a success. Using a higher level spell slot, the extra damage increases by 1d8 for each spell slot above 3. Blindness, Deafness. Level 2 Transmutation, Bard, Cleric, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action. Range 120 feet. Components, V. Duration 1 minute. 1 creature that you can see within range must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or it has the blinded or deafened condition. Your choice. For the duration, at the end of each of its turns, the target repeats the save, ending the spell on itself on a success. Using a higher level spell slot, you can target 1 additional creature for each spell slot above 2. Blink. Level 3 Transmutation, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action. Range, self. Excuse me. Component, VS. Duration, 1 minute. Roll a 1d6 at the end of each of your turns for the duration. On a roll of 4 to 6, you vanish from the current plane of existence and appear in the ethereal plane. The spell ends instantly if you are already on that plane. While on the ethereal plane, you can perceive the plane you left, which is cast in shades of gray, but you can't see anything there more than 60 feet away. You can affect and be affected only by other creatures on the ethereal plane, and creatures on the other plane can't perceive you unless you have a special ability that lets them perceive things on the ethereal plane. You return to the outer plane at the start of your next turn and when the spell ends if you are on the ethereal plane. You return to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 10 feet of the space you left. If no unoccupied space is available within range, you appear in the nearest unoccupied space. Blur! Level 2, Illusion, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action, range, self, components, V, duration, concentration, up to 1 minute. Your body becomes blurred. For the duration, any creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against you. An attacker is immune to this effect if it perceives you with blind sight or true sight. Burning Hands, level 1, evocation, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range, self, components, VS, duration, instantaneous. A thin sheet of flames shoots forth from you. Each creature in a 15-foot cone makes a dexterity saving throw, taking 3d6 fire damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Flammable objects in the cone that aren't being worn or carried starts burning. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases to 1d6 for each spell slot level above 1. We are entering spells C. Call Lightning. Level 3, Conjuration Druid. Casting time, action, range 120 feet. Components, VS, duration, concentration, up to 10 minutes. A storm cloud appears at the point within range that you see above yourself. It takes the shape of a cylinder that is 10 feet tall and 60 foot in radius. When you cast the spell, choose a point you can see under the cloud. The lightning bolt shoots from the cloud to that point. Each creature within 5 foot of that point makes a dexterity saving throw, taking 3d10 lightning damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Until the spell ends, you can take a magic action to call down lightning in that way again, targeting the same point or a different one. If you're outdoors in a storm when you cast the spell gives you control over the storm instead of creating a new one. Under such conditions, the spell's damage increases by 1d10. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d10 for each level above 3. Calm Emotions, level 2, enchantment, bard, cleric. Casting time, action, range 60 feet. Components, VS, duration, concentration up to 1 minute. Each humanoid in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose within range must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be affected by one of the following effects. Choose for each creature. The creature has immunity to the charmed and frightened conditions until the spell ends. If the creature is not already charmed or frightened, those conditions are suppressed for the duration. The creature becomes indifferent about creatures of your choice that is it's hostile towards. This indifference ends if the target takes damage or witnesses its allies taking damage. When the spell ends, the creature's attitude returns to normal. Call Lightning, level 6, evocation, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range 150 feet. Components, VSM, 3 silver pens, duration instantaneous. You launch a lightning bolt towards a target you can see within range. 3 bolts then leap from the target, as many as 3 other targets of your choice, each of which must be within 30 feet of the first target. A target can be a creature or an object and can be targeted by only one of the bolts. Each target makes a dexterity saving throw, taking 10d8 lightning damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. Using a higher level spell slot, one additional bolt leaps from the first target to another target for each spell slot above 6. Charm monster, level 4. Enchantment, bard, druid, sorcerer, warlock, wizard. Long list. Casting time, action, range 30 feet, components vs. duration 1 hour. One creature you can see within range makes a wisdom saving throw. It does so with advantage if your allies are fighting it. On a failed save, the target has the charmed condition until the spell ends or until you and your allies damage it. The charmed creature is friendly to you. When the spell ends, the target knows it is charmed by you. Using a higher level spell slot, you can target one additional creature for the spell slot level above 4. For each spell slot a level above 4. Charm person, level 1. Enchantment, bard, druid, sorcerer, warlock, wizard. Casting time, action, range 30 feet, components vs. duration 1 hour. One humanoid you can see within range makes a wisdom saving throw. It does so with advantage if you or your allies are fighting it. On a failed save, the target has the charmed condition until the spell ends or until you or your allies damage it. The charmed creature is friendly to you. When the spell ends, the target knows it was charmed. Using a higher spell slot, you can target one additional creature for each spell slot above level. Each spell slot level above 1. Chill touch. Necromancy, cantrip, sorcerer, warlock, wizard. Casting time, action, range, touch, components vs. duration instantaneous. Channeling the chill of the grave makes make a melee spell attack against a target within reach. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 necrotic damage, and it can't regain hit points until the end of your next turn. Cantrip upgrade. The damage increases by 1d10 when you reach levels 5, 2d10, 11, 3d10, and 17, 4d10. Chromatic Orb, level 1, Evocation, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 90 feet. Components VSM, a diamond worth 50 gold pieces. Duration, instant. You hurl an orb of energy at a target within range. Choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder for the type of orb you create, and then make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 3d8 damage of the chosen type. If you roll the same number on 2 or more of the d8s, the orb leaps into a different target of your choice within 30 feet of the target. Make an attack roll against a new target and make a new damage roll. The orb can't leap again unless you cast a spell with a level 2 plus spell slot. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d8 for each spell slot above 1. The orb can leap a maximum number of times equal to the level of the slot expended, and a creature can be targeted only once by each casting of this spell. Circle of Death. Level 6, Necromancy, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 150 feet. Components VSM, the powder of a crushed black pearl worth 500 plus gold pieces. Duration, instantaneous. Negative energy ripples out in a 60-foot radius sphere from a point you choose within range. Each creature in that area takes a Constitution saving throw, taking 8d8 necrotic damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 2d8 for each spell slot above 6. Next, we have Circle of Power, level 5 Abjuration. Cleric, Paladin, Wizard. Casting time, action, range, self, components, V, duration, concentration up to 10 minutes. An aura radiates from you in a 30-foot emanation of for the duration. While in the aura, you and your allies have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. When an affected creature takes a saving throw against a spell or magical effect that allows a saving throw to take only half damage, it takes no damage if it succeeds on the save. Clairvoyance, level 3 Divination, Bard, Cleric, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time 10 minutes, range 1 mile, components VSM. A focus worth 100 gold piece, either a gemmed horn or hearing or a glass eye for seeing. Durations, concentration up to 10 minutes. You create an invisible sensory within range in a location familiar to you, a place that you have visited or seen before, or an obvious location that is unfamiliar to you, such as behind a door, around a corner, or in a grove of trees. The intangible, invulnerable sensory remains in place for the duration. When you cast the spell, choose seeing or hearing. You can use this chosen sense through the sensory as if you were in its space. As a bonus action, you can switch between seeing and hearing. A creature that sees the sensors, such as a creature benefiting from see invisibility or true sight, sees a luminous orb about the size of your fist. Level 8 Necromancy Wizard. Casting time 1 hour. Touch is the range. Components VSM, a diamond worth 1,000 gold pieces, which the spell consumes, and a sealable vessel worth 2,000 plus gold pieces that is large enough to hold the creature being cloned. Duration, instantaneous. You touch a creature or at least 1 cubic inch of its flesh. Inert duplication of the creature forms inside the vessel using the spell's casting and finishes growing after 120 days. You choose whether the finished clone is the same age as the creature or younger. The clone remains inert and endures indefinitely while its vessel remains undisturbed. If the original creature dies after the clone finishes forming, the creature's soul transforms to the clone if the soul is free and willing to return. The clone is physically identical to the original and has the same personality, memories, and abilities, but none of the original's equipment. The creature's original remains, if any, become inert and can't be revived since the creature's soul is elsewhere. Cloud Kill, level 5 Conjuration, Sorcerer Wizard. Casting time, action! Range 120 feet. Components VS. Duration, concentration up to 10 minutes. You create a 20-foot radius sphere of yellow-green fog centered on a point within range. The fog lasts for the duration until strong wind, such as one created by a gust of wind, disperses it, ending the spell. Its area is heavily obscured. Each creature in a sphere makes a Constitution saving throw, taking 5d8 poison damage on a failed save or half as much on damage on a successful one. A creature must also make this save when the sphere moves into its space or when it enters the space or ends its turn there. A creature makes the save only once per turn. The sphere moves 10 feet away from you at the start of each of your turns. The sphere moves 10 feet away from you at the start of each of your turns. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d8 for each spell slot above 5. Cloud of Daggers, level 2, Conjuration, Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components VSM, a sliver of glass. Duration, concentration up to 1 minute. You conjure spinning daggers in a 5-foot cube centered on a point within range. Each creature in that area takes 44 slashing damage. A creature also takes this damage if it enters a cube or ends its turn there, or if the cube moves into its space. A creature takes this damage only once per turn. On your later turns, you can make a magic action to teleport the cube up to 30 feet. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases to 2d4 for the spell slots above 2. Color Spray, level 1, Illusion, Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard. Color Spray, level 1, Illusion, Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action, range, self, components, VSM, a pinch of colored sand. Duration, instantaneous. You launch a dazzling array of flashing, colorful light. Each creature in a 15-foot cone originating from you must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or have the blinded condition until the end of your next turn. Command, level 1, enchantment, Bard, Cleric, Paladin. Casting time, action, range 60 feet. Components, V, duration, instantaneous. You speak one word command to a creature you can see within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow the command to its next turn. Choosing the command from these 3 options. Approach. Okay. Let me explain. Let me go back. Choose the command from these options. Approach. The target moves towards you by the shortest and most direct route, ending its turn if it moves within 5 feet of you. Drop. The target drops whatever it's holding and then ends its turn. Flee. The target spends its turn moving away from you by the fastest available means. Grovel. The target has the prone condition and then ends its turn. Halt. On its turn, the target doesn't move and takes no action or bonus action. Using a higher level spell slot, you can affect 1 additional creature for each spell slot above 1. Commune, level 5, divination, cleric. Casting time 1 minute or ritual. Range, self, components, VSM, incense. Duration, 1 minute. You contact a deity or a divine proxy and ask up to 3 questions that can be answered with yes or no. You must ask your questions before the spell ends. You receive a correct answer for each question. Divine beings aren't necessarily omniscient, so you might receive an unclear as an answer if the question pertains to information that lies beyond the deity's knowledge. In a case where a one-word answer could be misleading or contrary to the deity's interest, the DM might offer a short phrase as an answer instead. If you cast a spell more than once before finishing a long rest, there is a cumulative of a 25% chance each casting time after that which there you get no answer. Commune with nature. Level 5 divination. Druid ranger. Casting time 1 minute or ritual. Range self. Components vs. Duration instantaneous. You commune with nature spirits and gain knowledge of the surrounding area. In the outdoors, the spell gives you knowledge of the area within 3 miles of you. In caves and other natural underground settings, the radius is limited to 300 feet. The spell doesn't function where the nature has been replaced by construction, such as castles and settlements. Choose 3 of the following facts. You learn those facts as they pertain to the spell's area. Locations of settlements, locations of portals or other planes of existence, locations of 1 challenge rating 10 plus creature DM's choice that is celestial or elemental and fey, a fiend or undead, the most prevalent kind of plant, mineral, or beast you choose to learn, locations of bodies of water. For example, you choose to determine the location of a powerful monster in the area, the location of bodies of water, and the locations of any towns. Compelled Duel. Level 1 Enchantment Paladin. Casting time, bonus action, range 30 feet. Components V, duration, concentration, up to 1 minute. You try to compel a creature into a duel. 1 creature that you can see within range makes a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you. And it can't willingly move to a space that it is more than 30 feet away from you. This spell ends if you make an attack roll against a creature other than the target. If you cast a spell on an enemy other than the target, if any ally of yours damages the target, or if you end your turn more than 30 feet away from the target. Unfortunately, I didn't get to the D's before we had to end this, but that's okay. Thank you for your likes and subscriptions. I trust that you'll find this useful for whatever your reasons or purposes. Stay tuned for more spells description, C's to D's, and we'll see where else we can lead. Until next time.